Hey there. This video is just going to be another little tour of a fixed base facility I've constructed. If I haven't been around in a couple days, this is where I've been nose deep in this project, and it's frankly pretty cool, so I think you're going to like it. And this tour I'm going to try to do mostly kind of first person, because it's probably prettier that way anyway, so that way you'll actually see what's going on, and there's not really much besides the base and the weapons range, so no reason to go flying around in a camera. So again, without too much frou-frou business, I'm gonna jump back into myself and take you around. Before I go anywhere though, this is the MCAS headquarters office with its conference room set up. Just another little stupid touch that I like to do to make things look kind of neat. And alright, moving on. Now we're in the same building. This is the same room that we were just in. Conference room. MERS poles just as before with the other facility on Encircly. This is the whole MU headquarters building. There's a briefing sort of set up here. There's no slideshow up, but if any specific missions need to be made, this is something that I kind of have as a plop down where I can just drop in mission slides as they're needed. So that's something that can be used for mission briefings where this screen will actually function as a slideshow display, just like in SOI with the great big billboard on the wall. It's just a smaller version of that. And S2 and S3 have their little office areas here. Again, just me screwing around and making things look nice, which surprisingly has not generated much of a frame drop. So this place is pretty efficient on the frames despite its size. So that's the headquarters building. And I'll just kind of a little bit of a walk around before we start driving out places. This is the remainder of the ground combat element area, battalion headquarters. Each building is labeled in this case because I got a lot of buildings. And actually most of them were pre-existing, so this is convenient. First platoon. Second platoon has their building. You'll notice street lamps everywhere. This place looks really nice at night now, and again is pretty efficient on the frames. So I might skip ahead and show that. It looks like it's kind of lightened up a little bit from what it was before. Just like in Encircly, there's a sort of light vehicles building. Come on. MRAP's in here for the infantry. And that building, again, just like in Encircly, is the armor building. And, unfortunately because of the slope of terrain, these kind of look like they're falling into the earth, but they're surprisingly level with the deck. Again, another MERS pole. Weapons platoon building and the building for armor. First platoon Bravo and second platoon Delta. Those guys, I'm going to steal one of their trucks. There is just like in Encircly, there is a parade deck here, and this lights up very well at night as well. With exactly the same sort of setup. I haven't moved the footprints around yet, but we have our MU memorial on the wall of honor there. And as before, platoon formations. That was missing a foot. That's kind of weird. Yeah, some of these are not quite at the right height, so they're drifting in and out of the terrain. The building on the right is the armory, just as it was in the other facility. And it's again the same setup where inside there's armory boxes for everybody. And that's Ace headquarters, so all the Ace guys spawn out there. And they have their MERS poles and everything in the buildings to be able to get to where they need to go, so they can get to their detachments quickly, get out to the air traffic control tower quickly, etc. This area here is sort of the training side of things. There's another briefing room in here set up just like the flight school building and encircling. And again, I've gated off airside from ground side pretty securely in most cases. And it works just the same way as all the other scripting I've done, where from the ground side you have to physically open the gates. However, when you roll out and leave the immediate vicinity of them for 5 seconds, they will shut. Can't make that. And if you come back at them from the other side, they will open automatically. So I guess we'll roll around the air side real quick, and this is, I haven't added anything drastic to what Altus already had to offer. It's a big airbase, so I just kind of left it with what it is. As you can see, there's kind of a green zone set here. We'll go out there a little later to the air weapons range, and I'll just, display how good the view is from there. It's actually a pretty nice spot with a couple different terrain features that are very useful for target practice. Another thing, I forgot to mention this with the other preview that I did with Encircly, but there is a briefing setup that just has, there's some basic information for various things, and also something that I have available in PDF format and other stuff, other formats, an actual FAA airport diagram that I've constructed for each of these that is pretty much accurate to how US style FAA airport diagrams are done. And it looks cruddy in here because it's been shrunk down, but when you look at it on the PDF, or a couple places have it on a panel board in the game itself, it looks pretty darn good. So anyway, down this end, again, training area. So here's our flight training. We've got 2 rotary wing assets. I don't have any Apex stuff in here right now because it's not technically required. I kind of wanted to keep this as the facility that's capable for people who don't have Apex or Al Rayak. It's kind of like the fallback facility. So no single engine lights there, but 2 jet trainers are in there. There is sure what I did with the medical building, but that's the medical helipad, and there's a backup one over here. That's just kind of a general ready ramp that I don't have being used right now, that hangar. RC-130, and I'm not going to encroach on the runway, but you'll see that as I do, being a stupid stickler, I've put hold short markings prior to the runway on the taxiways and on the couple roadways. Actually, you know what? Is that the... I'm just going to back up and go over this way. So that way, you're always aware that you're potentially encroaching into into an active runway. Even if you're on a road, you still have the same thing. There's a hold short mark there. this is what I've decided to use as the active tower. For some reason, Altus is stupid and has a bunch of these really similar control towers sitting around. But this is probably the one with the best view of all of them, and it's also closest to where our guys exist, which is where you're most likely to have the the most aircraft movement and the most chance of a runway incursion or a FOD incident on a taxiway. Again, utility box that has binoculars, C-tabs, things like that in there. I have forgotten to put the windsock right there. That's something I need to do, just for reference. As you can see, the view from up here is probably about the best you can get. That other one down there is pretty okay, but it has more of the fixed wing dispersion pads down there, but it has less up here. And this is where it's more important to keep tabs on stuff. So there. And again, there's a MERS pole up in the top of here if you didn't see that, which kind of eases movement around here. All right, rotary. There's two MERS poles here. There's one for the MB-22s and one for regular rotary as usual. You got there 3 birds. You have the vast assortment of rotary wing assets we have strung out along. 3 general use helipads hanging out. And again, put fencing up so that you can't just roll straight on without paying attention. Also so the AI can't do that as easily. Everything, all that fencing is pretty much indestructible, so if it's all got damage disabled, so if you run into it, you're gonna have a bad time. And this is the rearm pad stolen from Tanoa. It's exactly the same thing. Same vehicle, same setup. All the vehicles have respawn scripts. Should have. I don't know what's happening with the gear. They're supposed to have gear in them. I gotta fix that. But they're all set up with the respawn scripts so that they'll show up back where they were, and I have them sort of scattered around various places. Viking N, MERS pole, and what are they now? Combat N with a MERS pole. Pretty much it for the airbase itself. We'll just roll back out here, and we've got sort of a south entrance and a main entrance. Both of these look really good at at night as well. They're very nicely lit up. But yep, south entrance. Just for shits and giggles, I'll wrap myself back around the base and come in the north entrance. Oh, that was a rabbit. Bye, buddy. There, just if I didn't clarify, the fencing is up around the terminal, but people can still go through the terminal, so you just can't drop a vehicle through it. So the terminal can still function as an actual terminal if somebody wishes. This shit looks impressive as hell from the outside. There's just so many buildings and things scattered around now. But again, the frame rate is scripted, so it's supposed to be down, but there's our usual gate guard and the main entrance. Again, all the gates are scripted, so come through either way and it all works out fine. And I'm gonna turn it into night real quick, and you'll see just how pretty this place is at night. Because I mean, it sounds kind of dumb, but it's really worth it. Oh, hi, me. Go away. There we go. Alright. Now, see street lights. Everything's lit up. It all looks beautiful. I'm not going to go out airside there, but I'm just going to do another little swing around just to kind of prove that I did pay attention a little bit. There is a little lighting on the air side here where the flight training area is, but I tried to keep that to a minimum. So if you keep going, the air side generally stays pretty darn dark. Add a light at the control tower so you can see where the gate is, because otherwise it's just impossible to distinguish. This was supposed to be a little bit lit up at the terminal side of it, but it really, for some reason, two of these lamps just don't work. It's like BI just kind of forgot about that or something. You know, they're just not scripted properly. So I replaced one of those to give a little bit more light there. The only other light airside is that one lamp at rearm. Just again, so you can see what you're doing if you don't have knots on. That was a lucky guess. I had no freaking clue where that road was. Just frankly, the one thing that I fell in love with Arma 3 over Arma 2 was the lighting effects, and lights look so much nicer. I did add this one lamp here, but again, it's not really airside, so your knots won't get disrupted by it too much. Though, the entrances, as you can see, are freaking lit up like Christmas trees. You know, obviously you don't want Joe Schmo driving up and you can't see who he is. Little silly real-life touches that most people don't bother with. They just plop a couple of HESCO barriers down in an ammo box and call it a base. I try to make a place where we live. And, headlight range is so short in this damn game. It's kind of gross, really. It's scary as hell trying to drive anywhere because you can only see 5 feet in front of you when it's totally clear. So yes, now I am going to drive like I'm drunk because I can't see anything. I get like a T-80 20 feet in front of me and I just go plunk. Too bad there's no option for high beams. That would get confusing though. Dumb shit that I think about. Alright, Here we are, main entrance. Now it looks pretty. Again, lit up like a Christmas tree. And you know, I try to keep the lights to a minimum, but you know, have a little bit of light so you can still see as you're going around without nods. So there are street lights around here, though a lot of this stuff is actually pre-existing. I did add perimeter lights around the parade ground because that just kind of adds to the effect. And there is the one spotlight lighting up the wall of honor. So yeah. That's about it. This has just been a very brief tour of the silly shit that I do to build bases for no reason, because they're not official. They're just sort of for the hell of it, and some people seem to like them, so I keep doing them. I hope you've enjoyed. If you end up coming on and playing on this template and you have constructive criticism, please don't hesitate to point it out to me. And yeah, hopefully I see some more people on my server using this stuff. Thanks.